So Vortex, I was just thinking about how like everything sucks right now in society because of, you know, all the materialistic culture is sucking the life out of everything. I think that people are experiencing something called anhedonia. I think that's how you say it. Schizophrenics experience this. It's where we can't derive pleasure from daily activities. We don't enjoy sex for this reason. I think that the reason why Americans in particular are so addicted to sex, they're so uh, sexually charged, is because they're just dying to feel something. And that's really sad that you want to stick your dinger into some total stranger who probably has an STD. Also, you can feel something. Or you'll watch people fuck on a TV screen. Also, you can ejaculate. It's just really weird to me. And maybe it's weird because I'm adopted, so like I know better than anybody the consequences of having sexual intercourse and not being prepared for those consequences. So that's something that I have often thought about every single time I've ever made the mistake of fornicating. There is a part of me that like wants to desire sex. Just like there's a part of me, I call it that phantom libido and limbo. I keep adding to the joke. Eventually it's going to be a Sistine Chapel of a joke. But right now, it's still in the construction phase. But like, oh, I'm gonna close the car door so I don't run out the battery. But yeah, people are going along with really fake things because they can't handle the idea of being alive for even 5 minutes. They need to be distracted, they need to be stimulated. And you know, a society that accepts technology over the real thing, a society that would rather stare at a screen than, you know, just look around and breathe the air and just be grateful that they have breath in them, you know, that's not a society worth salvaging. It's just not. And I'm sorry that you have kids and they're going to be forced to starve to death. But, you know, that was probably foolish to, you know, bring children into this world when this world is completely falling apart. And you can say that I'm selfish because I don't want to do that. I'm thinking about your kids more than you. That's why you shouldn't have gotten them a smartphone. Whenever they transition and detransition and then commit suicide, you could cry to your therapist or your analyst or whatever the fuck. Because people like me are always going to be called crazy, you know? Because we're going against society. We're saying the exact opposite thing of what everybody else is saying. And all the technology stuff they put on the back burner because they know that nobody's going to listen. And they're right. I mean, people don't give a shit. They don't value their life. They don't value their kids' lives. That's why they bitch about school shootings. Because they know, a part of them knows that they don't actually value their kid's life, or they wouldn't have put their kid in a public school. They wouldn't have dropped their kids off at a school, no way. You should be raising your kid. There should be nobody else teaching your kid how to read, write. But you could say, well, who are you? You don't have kids. You're right. You're right. If you criticize me in that way, you're right. Like I said, I would be running to the Amish community if I got pregnant. There's no fucking way that I've raised my kid in this world, dude. It's just so shitty. I don't know why anybody would trust anything in relation to the system. Like, why would you have your kid in a hospital and have your kid be, like, chipped, essentially? Because that's what they're doing, you know? It's like, you think that it's a coincidence that, like, all these jabs that they're stabbing these kids with, like, they didn't require that many. Like, the older that I've gotten and the longer I've lived in this world, it's just the worse and worse it keeps getting. And so you think it's a coincidence that, like, all these kids now have some kind of mental disorder when they're forced by the government, or they're forced by some hospital, or they're forced by, like, the college that they attend, or, you know, the country that they're trying to visit. They got to get all these jabs. I mean, whatever. I mean, you're the parent, right? You're the parent. Well, be the parent. Be the parent. And give your kids a phone so that you don't have to pay any attention to them anymore. You know, I mean, that's the truth, man. That is the truth. And, like, that's why TVs exist. So people don't have to be reminded that they're alive, you know? And I understand that there's, like, you know, parents out there, like the 2% of them that exist that actually care about their kids' well-being, that didn't give their kids a tablet and a phone, or allow their kids to access the internet when they're not present. You know, I get that. I know that y'all exist, okay? And I appreciate you, and I commend you for your hard work. But how is that gonna, like, outweigh, like, the number of kids that have been jabbed and have those little things in their ears? Like, what's gonna happen if like, the internet goes away? What's gonna happen if, like, their social media handle, like, cuts them off, you know? It's like people can't handle, like, not having their precious brain food, you know? Because they don't know how to get from themselves what they're seeking through technology, or through materialism, or through, you know, other people, you know, society, their sexual partner, their spouse, their significant other, whatever. It's like people don't know how to attain any of that stuff on their own. Like, I do. And I'm a weirdo. I'm the outcast. And people are gonna hate on me because of my dark perspective on things. Because it is a very black pilling experience. But, like, it's always been my perspective, you know? It's not because of anything I read on the internet or anything I read in a book. I mean, it's just my own eyeballs and my own ear holes and the nostrils that smell shit coming out of everybody's orifices, okay? When they say that we need this shit, how else will society function? You're so pathetic, dude. You're so pathetic and so grossly uncreative. Like, that's what I'm saying. Art is dead. Life is dead. It's like everything's porn now, you know? Everything's porn. Everything's suicide. Everything's euthanasia. Some form or fashion. But don't worry, my kratom's about to kick in.